Hello, Maurice.
Hello. It took a while this time. Hello, Vikas.
How are you over there? How is Europe doing?
It's our second time. And really looking forward to this webinar. But is it a webinar, Vikas?
It's not. It's the way I want to do it is I want to actually give people a lot of value, a lot of wisdom that grows their life and grows their mind. So I want to do a micro masterclass. I do a 2-day masterclass for my students from around the world when they come here to Soul Center. But today I think I want to do a micro masterclass of wisdom to change our life.
Yeah. And then happy to have everyone in the chat. Tell me where you're from. I already see it from Belgium, from Switzerland. Should be also some people from Singapore. It's around, what's the time over there again?
It's 8 p.m. in the evening.
8 p.m.
8 p.m. Yes.
So you had your dinner already? Oh.
Kind of. I just had I had a snack before I came on.
Yeah. Welcome everyone. Welcome to have you here in this most inspiring masterclass, I must say, with the Mr. Wisdom himself, Vikas Malkani. And for the people who joined us last time with the futurist Bikas and Vikas. Yeah, Vikas shared us a new online karma program. And after the webinar, we received so many questions about it that we directly have decided we must help those people with answering those questions about that program, but we go a little bit deeper. We have 90 minutes today. 90 minutes.
Fantastic.
And we hope, of course, that we can answer the questions of people in the chat. So feel free. Tell us, is this your first webinar? Maybe your second. We celebrate today our 20th webinar. 20th webinar in this crazy year 2020. So my name is Maurice van der Kant, director of Assembly Speakers. I'm the founder of bookingworldspeakers.com for the people whose first webinar this is. I hope it's not, because thousands of people from all over the world are joining us. So we go forward with a deep dive of Vikas. For people who don't know Vikas is the #1 wisdom coach of the world. I met him, I think 3 years ago, Vikas. 3 years ago at an event in America. I'm always traveling around the world to look for people that are really adding value to other people and the society. And this year is the right moment to spread the inspiration, to spread the value of those people. So I was happy actually with this lockdown. Finally, we can bring people together from all over the world to inspire them and help them with speakers that I met during my journey. So again, happy to have you here, Vikas. Happy to have you here. Tell the people what are they going to expect in this 90 minutes.
Okay, well, thank you, Maurice. Thank you for inviting me back, and I'm so happy that there is so much interest from people around the world. After our first webinar, there's so much interest on understanding deeper about wisdom, because truly I believe that wisdom is the greatest treasure that we need to acquire now. It's the most important asset, the most important tool. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me back. And as I said, what I want to do is I don't just want to do a webinar. I want to actually give a lot of value to every person who is listening today, watching today. And we'll put this recording later on YouTube so more people can access it. So I want to share a lot of wisdom, secrets, and strategies, because I believe that the world needs it. The old system is broken. The old way of living, the old way of thinking is broken. And we need a new way, because a system that's broken only creates broken people. A system that's broken creates broken companies. Look at what's happening in the world today. Suddenly, when the system shuts down, you cannot even sustain 2, 3, 4 months. The news came out today that the GNC company, which is one of the biggest in health supplements, has filed for bankruptcy administration, essentially. And it's happening all over the world. They're falling like dominoes, a domino, one after the other. And why is that happening? It's because the system that they've been working on is a broken system. As soon as the system stops, they can't sustain. So we need wisdom. We need a new way of thinking. We need a new leadership. And I'll talk much more about that. And it starts with every individual, in every relationship, in every family. So I'm here today to give the readers, to give the viewers, to give the listeners, to give the audience a micro masterclass. We'll do 90 minutes, but it can be 90 minutes that changes people's lives. And that's what I intend to do.
I love that. Let's go for that. I think for some people, wisdom, what is it? Because it feels like a little bit spiritual, of course, but is there a definition?
Yes. So first of all, that's a great question to start. That's a great point to start with. And we have to accept the fact that we are spiritual beings in a material planet. Let me clarify what I mean by that, because sometimes when people think about spirituality or the spirit or the soul, they all think it's about woo-woo, I don't need it. But the fact is that we are all spiritual human beings. Now, let me explain what that means. You see, a mother and a father get together and they produce life. But do they really produce life? Let's look at it a little bit deeply. And what do a man and a woman together do? They create a physical body. But life in that physical body comes from some other element that the mother and the father cannot control. And that is the element which we call spirit. Spirit is only something that is not matter. So it's different, matter and spirit, right? So the spirit can be called the soul. It can be called the spirit. It can be called the energy. But when that energy, when that soul comes in the body, the physical body comes alive. So when you think of birth, what is birth? The birth is the spirit and the physical body coming together. And what is death? Death is the spirit and the physical body separating. So what happens after death, Maurice, is that the body is left behind, but the life inside the body is gone. So that life inside the body is what we call the spirit. So we are all essentially spirit beings because we are alive. Okay? And that is the non-matter, the non-material part of us. In fact, it's the most important part of us. Think about it. Every day that we live our lives, we feel things. The feeling of love, the feeling of fear, the feeling of inspiration. When we are so excited, you can't stop. The feeling of depression, when you don't even want to be alive. They are the most powerful forces in a human's life. And they are all non-matter. They are all spirit. So essentially, we are spiritual beings, and we have to accept that. We also have to accept that we are living in a universe which has a greater intelligence than us. There's something bigger and higher than us, because today we are going deep into wisdom. For everyone listening, this is a micro masterclass. I just want to clarify. I'm not here just to entertain you today. I'm here to awaken you. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to transform you. And you have to accept that you're living in the middle of a much greater intelligence. Look around you. You will see the sun. And you know that you didn't create the sun, and you cannot create the sun. So there is a higher intelligence, a higher consciousness, a higher power, whatever you want to call it, that's up to you. But there is a higher intelligence than you and me, Maurice. Look at the moon, look at the plants, look at the planet, look at the cosmos, look at the solar system, look at the galaxies. and then realize that there are trillions of galaxies, and who created all this? There is an intelligence, call it what you may, and we are living in the middle of it. You know, the blood that runs in our body, which keeps us alive, we cannot produce it. And that's why they have to ask people to donate blood, because if we could produce it, why would we ask people to donate it? We just set up factories and produce it by the liters, you know. Everything we eat, everything we breathe is given to us by this greater intelligence that we are a part of. So we are spiritual beings. Now let's understand what is wisdom. So I am a body, and that body is alive because of the spirit inside it, the soul inside it. So if you go deeper into the body, you realize that all of us feel emotions every day. Feelings and emotions happen every day. We are all emotional human beings. But where do emotions come from? And if we go a little bit deeper, we realize that emotions come from the way we think. So if I have negative thoughts, I feel depressed. I have positive thoughts, I feel elated, I feel inspired. And those thoughts happen in our mind. So the root of the tree of our life is our thinking process, our mindset. And wisdom is what nourishes those roots. Wisdom is what nourishes the mind. So think of the mind like an engine which drives your car. The car is your life. But the engine works on fuel, and the fuel is wisdom. You put in good fuel, your engine performs really well. You put in bad fuel, even a good engine breaks down. Wisdom is fuel for the mind, and the mind is the creator of your life. That's why it's the most important thing.
Thank you for this explanation. And I'm thinking now of an example that I experienced yesterday with my own son. He will become, on Sunday, he will be 10.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
So, and yesterday he was sitting in the car behind me, and he asked me, Daddy, why is it that when I showed my hand to the sun, that I see my hand in red? He was just talking about the blood, of course. And a question, of course, why are we not teaching children to learn more about ancient wisdom? And because it's much needed, I think.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you, Maurice. We need wisdom more than ever before, right? Because it's the basis of a good, balanced, fruitful life. So we all want that. Mm-hmm. You know, what drives human beings? What drives human beings is actually emotions. We are driven to motion by emotion. We are seeking happiness. We are seeking fulfillment. We are seeking love. We are seeking excitement. That's what drives human beings. Mm-hmm. When you get people excited, you have a team. When you get people fearful, you have enemies, the opposite of a team. Mm-hmm. So what drives us is emotions. And wisdom allows us the ability to create that happy emotions in our life, in our relationships, in our work. So it must be taught to all children. And surprisingly, it was at one point of time. All children would go through this, especially in Asia, because largely this wisdom, arises from Asia. Today, of course, it's global. The good part is we are living in a globalized society and a global planet. I mean, look at this. I'm sitting in Singapore. I'm from India. You're sitting in Belgium, if I'm right, and you're from the Netherlands, and we are connected across thousands of miles of land and sea digitally. So it's beautiful that we can share wisdom with the world. Mm-hmm. So wisdom is absolutely essential, and it was taught at some point of time to every child because it was the basis of a good life. Mm-hmm. But then somewhere along the way, we went wrong. And we started to think, there was this one thought which changed, and we started to believe that the purpose of our life is profit. I give a warning to everyone listening today. I'm here to wake you up. I'm here to make you elevate your life, your thinking, your living. I'm here to share the truth. And the truth, as they say, sets you free. Be prepared for what's coming later. Be prepared to break your chains. Be prepared to question your life of 30, 40, 50 years. If you're not, perhaps don't listen. But here is the truth. At some point of time in our history, I'm talking many, many, many hundred years ago, there was a shift in the mindset of the leaders. And the shift was that life is about profit. Not about happiness, not about fulfillment, not about collaboration, but profit. Profit in any way possible. And profit, of course, means I need more land. I need more resources. I need more consumption. And when that shifted, there was no need to teach people wisdom. Then what you need to teach people is just how to be workers or soldiers or producers. And along the way, everyone also becomes a consumer. So now we are just focused on building more and more. And that is the disease of today, the biggest disease of today. Across the world, right? It's not limited to any race, any culture, any community. It's across the world. The biggest disease of today is that we do not know what is enough. We do not have an end point which says, okay, this is enough. We just want more and more and more. And interestingly, Maurice, I want to say this is not just a timeless wisdom. It's not just ancient. I don't call it ancient wisdom. I call it timeless wisdom. But it's timeless wisdom, which is very timely. We need it now more than ever before. Interestingly, here's something very interesting. It's not just ancient Indian wisdom. It's not just ancient Asian wisdom. But even in the West, even in the Americas, when the first conquerors went there, when they arrived and they took over the land, the local people, the local natives of the land, the people who were living there before, and they were living in harmony with the world, with the nature around them, when they saw these white men come and when they saw them destroy animals and land and trees, they said that they suffer from a disease and they called it vertigo. They suffer from vertigo, they said. The white man suffers from vertigo. And vertigo, they said, is a disease of the spirit. And when they have vertigo, they don't know when to stop. They just want more and more and more. So they destroy the land around them. They destroy life around them. And in the bargain, they will destroy themselves. And that is the problem with the world today. We just want more and more and more. And it's a formula guaranteed to fail. Formula guaranteed to fail.
So you say there is a reason why this all is happening this year.
Yes.
Yeah, we know, of course, a lot of people are in fear, are living in fear, maybe are jobless, losing the companies. We don't know yet these statistics. I don't understand why we don't know yet, why the media is not showing it, but we know. And don't forget the hunger in Africa. I shared that in my webinars before. Last webinar, the topic was energy poverty, the biggest problem in the world. If we can solve that, and there is a solution for that, we solve many other problems.
Yes.
But what you said, profit, focus on profit. So yes. Can we help people understand? Because you always hear, okay, we need the money to live. I have to pay my house. I have to pay this. I have to pay this. So I need that job, although I'm not happy anymore.
Yeah, I get it. But Maurice, let's look at it in a slightly different way, okay? I'll give you the solution. But let me just define what the problem is, all right? Because the old system is broken. So we need to understand what's broken, what's going wrong. Look around you and you will notice that we are destroying the planet we live on. Everywhere we are cutting down trees, we are burning forests, we are burning jungles, we are polluting the rivers, we are mining the earth, we are bringing out carbon, we are burning it, putting it back in the air. and then we breathe the same thing. Okay, so we are destroying the environment and life around us. But let's look at the financial system that keeps the economies going. And if you do a little bit of research, you will realize that actually the financial system is also broken because majority of the countries in the world are living in debt. Imagine a house, a family, where you're living in a lot of debt and you keep taking on more debt. You keep borrowing more money because you want to live a better life. And eventually you're living this on no foundation at all. Your good life, your prosperous life, your rising GDP, your rising, the percentage of your economic growth is not based on a foundation that is firm. Mm-hmm. What happens when this country changes hands? Every new government carries the load forward. It's like a father dying and then passing the debt on to the child. You see, it's an endless process. And the economic system, the financial system is broken. Now, another thing, look at the world which is running not just economics and finance, but in terms of borders and territories. Everywhere you look, there are disputes over the borders and the territories of people. Whether you take the South China Sea, you take the current dispute between India and China, you take the problem between the Southeast Asian nations, you take areas of Europe, there is constant confusion, there is constant confrontation. Now, no one with their right mind can look at our life this way and say that this is the good life that we wanted. So the system is broken and we need to fix it. Now, why is it broken? Let's look at the cause of it. If you go a little bit deeper, you realize that everything we do arises from the way we think. So our mindset, I call it mentality and mindset. The way a person thinks is the way that they're going to live their life. So your mentality drives your lifestyle, right? So it's about how we are made to think. It's the mentality. And an interesting fact is this, that every child is born with a mind, but not a mindset. I'll say this again, it's very powerful when people realize every child is born with a mind, not a mindset. The mindset is created and developed after the child is born. So this means that when children are growing up, they are being told how to live, what to be when they grow up, what they must create for themselves. However, we are never taught as children how to manage our own mind, right? The desires that I have for my life are all coming from my own mindset. Now, you gave me a really nice example, and that was that if you live in a house and you're living here, you have a family, you need to earn money to pay your bills. You need to earn money to live your life, right? And money is a resource. Of course, it's a way of exchange. You live in your house, you give money in exchange to buy your house. You use electricity, you give money in exchange to buy that electricity. So money is a means of exchange. And you're exchanging things that you want or need. What happens, Maurice, if let's say you buy a house and at the moment it's got 4 bedrooms and you work hard to get yourself that house for 4 bedrooms. And then your mind tells you, but 4 bedrooms is not enough, I need 6. And then you work hard to get that house of 6 bedrooms. And then your mind tells you, but 6 is not enough, we need 8. And then 8 becomes 10 and 10 becomes 12. So you are constantly chasing your own desires. And there is no limit on those desires. Back to what I said earlier, we don't know what is our enough. Mm-hmm. We don't know what is our enough. So we are constantly chasing a system that has no finish line. We are running a race that has no finish line.
Can we teach that enough is enough?
No, we need to, let me just go back to timeless wisdom, right, from the masters. And there's a very beautiful line. There's a very beautiful teaching which says that your mindset is reflected in your life and your planet. Again, I repeat, your mindset is reflected in your life and your planet. And your planet, now that part I didn't understand. I understood the first part. Your mindset is reflected in your life, right? So when you look at our life, the relationships we are in, the home we have, the kind of colors we wear, the work we do, that's our lifestyle. So it all arises out of my thinking. So that part of the equation is easy to understand. But the next part of the equation is that your mindset is reflected in your planet, in your world. Now, how is that true? But then when you look at it a little bit deeper, you realize that's absolutely true. Why do I pollute the rivers? I mean, not me personally, but why does man pollute the rivers? Because somewhere there's a company who's producing something for profit. You see, profit. If there was no profit, they would shut the company down. So they are producing something for profit. And when they have to release their chemicals, they throw the chemicals in the river because they don't care about the river. All they care about is profit. And that's arising from a mindset and a mentality. And that mentality will get reflected in the world. So it's a reflection, Maurice. This is a big statement to make, but it's 100% true. We are living in a poisoned planet because we have a poisoned mindset. We have imbalance here, and that is why we are creating imbalance out there. Someone who has not managed their own mind and their own desires, all desires live here. If someone has not managed their own mind, they will never have stable relationships. They will never have sustained success. They will never live in a world of balance. Their life will be out of balance. Relationships will be out of balance. Work life will be out of balance. What do people talk about today? I want work-life balance. Everywhere I go, people say, I want work-life balance. So, what does that imply? It implies I have no balance. And of course, if we don't have balance in here, we will never have balance in the world also. So it all boils down to the fact that we as children and adults must learn how to train our mind. And that's where the wisdom of karma comes in, right? That's where we need to understand that not being able to manage my mind is a disease. I have to cure myself.
Yeah, you talk about poison, disease. Of course, children, a mind, not a mindset. So we have to start from the beginning as a child to educate them with a different mindset. So not profit focus. And I was looking in the chat. I think it was Ruth, if I pronounce that right. We need good leadership. Or we need leadership. But are we not all leader in the world? I'm not thinking of waiting for the next leader who is doing it right or wrong.
Yeah. See, the thing is this, right? I agree that we need good leadership. And I also agree that we are all leaders, Maurice. We are leaders of our own life. But what is good leadership? Now, I say that we need wisdom-based leadership. Wisdom-based leadership. In companies, in the house, in countries, and on the planet. Not profit-based. And again, I want to clarify that profit is not bad because money is a means of exchange, as I told you. Money is not good, money is not bad. You do good with money, money is good. You do bad with money, money is bad. But if I'm earning money by poisoning or destroying other people, it's bad. If I'm earning money by destroying the earth, it's bad. If I'm earning money by killing animals, it's bad. Right? Because that's destroying the environment around me. So money is not a bad thing. I must earn the money. And if I become a wisdom-based leader, then I use the money to bring benefits to society, bring benefits to the planet, bring benefit to the animals and the nature, life that's around me. I mean, what gives us the right? Maurice, you tell me this, right? I ask a question to every person I meet, and till today I have not got an answer. Maybe you can enlighten me today. what gives humans the right to destroy the planet for their own profit? What gives humans the right to kill 70 billion animals every year? 70 billion animals. We are only 7.5 billion on the planet. And we kill more than 70 billion animals every year for our own comfort and our own convenience and profit. It's all profit. What gives us the right to do this?
Is that including the flies?
No, my dear friend, this is excluding the animals that die naturally or that die due to the pollution we create. This is direct killing of animals, 70 billion in factories. And
I don't think that there's an answer to it. And of course, we were too much living into our own individual world and not and being blind for people around us.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I think I know what the problem is, which I've defined so well, right? But what is the solution? The solution is to change our thinking. We have to start with every individual. Mm-hmm. Every individual. We cannot wait for leaders to change. We cannot wait for countries to change. We have to start by changing every individual. And who's the first individual I can change, Maurice? Me, myself.
Yeah.
So, the responsibility of changing our planet or the responsibility of making a better planet starts by making me a better person. We all have to accept responsibility for making ourselves better, more evolved human beings. And that's where wisdom comes in. It's the fuel of the mindset, right? It's the fuel of the mind.
Do you think that some people are thinking, I'm a bad person, please help me?
Yeah, there are people out there, there's people who live in a lot of ego and arrogance, who think they're always right, they're always good. But then there's also the other flip side of it. There are people who are constantly putting themselves down, right? So, we have to find a middle ground somewhere. And we all, wherever we stand, we have to make ourselves the first people we change. I'll give you a very nice story. It's a story of wisdom, Maurice.
Yeah, and then I come back to a question in the chat.
Yes, absolutely. So this is a beautiful story, and it's a story about a great master of wisdom. Okay, an enlightened man. He's a great master of wisdom. And he's quite old now. It's time for him to go soon. Everyone knows he'll go soon. So one day, his students are sitting with him, and one of the students says, Master, you will go soon. We know you're old. We realize you'll go soon. So give us the most valuable lesson you have learned in your life. So the master says, okay, this is a good question. I shall answer it. So he says, when I was a young boy growing up and I saw the world around me, I wanted to change the world. I wanted to make it a better place. So I went out trying to change the world, and I did that for 10 years. But 10 years later, I evolved. I grew up a little bit. My mind expanded. So after 10 years of hard work to change the world, I changed my objective. I changed my goal. Now my vision was that I want to make sure that my community becomes a better community, more elevated. So I spent 10 years trying to make my community more elevated, trying to get them to change their habits, trying to get them to change their lifestyle. And I worked very hard for that. 10 years later, I evolved some more. My mind expanded some more, and I changed my objective again. Now my vision became, okay, forget the world, that'll happen later. Forget the community, that'll happen later. But my family, I must change my family. I mean, my wife, my children, they must think the right way. And what is the right way? The right way is always my way, right? So I changed my own vision that now I must just change my family. And he said, for 10 years, I tried to do that. And after 10 years, I grew up some more. And then I said to myself, it's okay. I don't want to change my whole family. Let my children be who they are and let them do what they are. But my wife, my wife must think like me. She must be aligned with me. And he says, now I am an old man and the world calls me a great teacher and a great master of wisdom. And it is all because today I have realized that the first person I need to change is myself. If I cannot change myself, I cannot change my family, I cannot change the world, I cannot do anything if I cannot manage myself. So where does wisdom start? Wisdom starts with a commitment to grow ourselves, our mindset, to see things a different way, and to make our life a more balanced, a more fulfilling life. Managing the mindset, my dear friend. That's where it all starts.
Great story, and it resonates with the time we are living now here. Ramon, thank you for the question. Of course, we are talking about ancient wisdom, and he says, and we all know what Socrates told us. All we know is that we don't know. Should we not ask more of the right questions? And what are these questions? Great question.
Yeah, so, Socrates was a great master, but remember that the world has produced many masters from many different philosophies. But as far as knowledge goes, there are three parts of knowledge. The first part is what I know, I know. Okay, call that a circle. It's a circle of what I know, I know. So it's everything I've experienced. It's everything that's done. The second part of knowledge is what I know, I don't know. And that's the second part of knowledge, and that is a bigger circle. I mean, there's so much in the world I don't know. Compared to what I know, which is a very small circle, the circle of what I know, I don't know is a much bigger circle. However, the masters say there is a third part of knowledge. And the third part of knowledge is that circle of what I don't know, I don't know. And that is massive. That is massive. But you know what the big lesson from this is? The big lesson from these three examples of circles, the big lesson that we need to take away, all of us, is this: that we must keep an open mind and we must be willing to see things with a different perspective. We only grow our mind when we do think a new way. But if we only think our old way and we always think we are right, we never grow our mind. So wisdom is always about keeping an open mind, and it is to stay open to different ideas, different perspectives, different narratives, different philosophies. Then we grow.
Great. I was just reading a note of Sally, a reaction to your story, of course. Happy wife, happy life. Remember this, guys. So.
Oh yes.
It's good to mention that. We are all living in this one world, and we need each other. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nan Cohen is asking us, how do you convince the most powerful, the richest of the planet, this neoliberal economical era? It's a long question. Era we live and experience is secondary to a sustainable, balanced, harmonious, respectful world from wisdom? Question mark. You know?
Wow, that is a long question and a deep question, but let me give a very simple answer.
Yes.
Yes, it's very simple, right? Look, the world is run by two types of leaders. Okay, let's be clear. The world is run by two types of leaders. One is government leaders, and the other is corporate leaders. Essentially, the whole economy of any country is run by the government on top, which is the political leadership, and then you have the corporate leadership. That's it. Now, community leaders, religious leaders, they keep the community together. They keep the whole thing moving. But the fuel comes, the money comes from the government and the economy. So the corporate leaders. So the real challenge is essentially, how do we come into these mindsets of leaders, whether in the companies or in the governments? And I advise a lot of leaders in companies and governments. So I'm talking out of experience. Now, you see, how do you convince somebody of anything? How for any given task, how do you persuade anyone of your narrative, your philosophy? And the only way to do that is to talk about something that's important for those people. So if I want to go into a CEO and I want to tell him to meditate, because meditation has been done for 10,000 years and it's absolutely wonderful. It'll give you peace of mind. It'll give you a clear mind. It will take away your negative toxins from the body. The CEO doesn't listen to me. But yet, why is it that so many CEOs and leaders come to learn meditation and wisdom from me? It's because I show them how it will be important and valuable for them. So I show them that when they have a clear mind, because they meditate, that clear mind allows them to make better decisions for their teams, for their company. That clear mind allows them to lessen the stress that their body is feeling, thereby enhancing their lifespan. Then they listen. So how do we get the government leaders and the corporate leaders to listen to this idea of sustainable success? We show them how it is more beneficial for them in the long run. And that is the real challenge. I'm not saying don't have success. I'm not saying don't earn money. I am saying have sustainable success in balance. We need to make sure that we are living in balance with the universe and the planet around us. Here's something that everyone should consider. Okay, everyone listening to me today. We don't own the planet, We just arrived here for a short period of time. The planet is billions of years old. And we just arrived here for 80 years. So literally, you're a guest on this planet, okay? You're not the owner of it. You're a guest. We are all guests on this planet. We are not owners of it. So the mindset we should carry is that of a good guest. Now, Maurice, let me ask you this simple question. Let's say you invite me to your house, my friend.
Always welcome.
Thank you very much. I hope you get some strawberries for me. But let's say you invite me to your house, okay? You've invited me to your house for 8 days, okay? 8 days.
Tell the people in chat why you talk about strawberries. But
yeah. So let's say you invite me to your house for 8 days, okay? So I arrive as a guest, but from the first day onwards, I start thinking this is my own house. This house belongs to me. Then you know what I start doing is I throw out half your furniture. I remove everything from your walls. I shift everything around. I change the color of everything. Now, if I start doing that, Maurice, on day 2, you will want to murder me. The point I'm trying to make with this simple joke is we do the same thing to our planet. We come here as guests, then we think we are the owners and we have a right to it. And we have a right to everything on this planet. And that's where the trouble comes. It's a lack of wisdom. It's ignorance, pure ignorance, which drives us to live this way. Man is supposed to live in alignment with the world and nature around it. We are not meant to force the world to align with us. We have to fit into the world. Instead, what do? We try to get the world to fit into us. And that's where the problem happens. I'll say something very interesting, okay, talking about COVID, because you asked me a question about COVID earlier. This is something amazing and it's going to shock a number of people. But there is an ancient book of wisdom, and it's about 5,000 years old, give or take, about 5,000 years old. And in this book of wisdom, it's a conversation between an enlightened master and a warrior. So literally take it in today's day and age. It's the conversation between a master of wisdom and a master of work. All right? Because a warrior would be somebody who goes out today to run a company or run a business. Okay? And they're having this conversation about life. And it has the deepest wisdom available literally on the planet, and it gives solutions to everything in life when you truly understand that book. However, the entire story of this book, because it's a beautiful story about life and battle and courage and bravery and heroism and treachery and betrayal. Everything is there, just like human life. This ancient book starts with a narrative. So here's how the book starts, all right? Mother Earth is suffering so much because it is being exploited. It is being exploited by mankind because the ruling power of the planet is man, and they are warriors and they just want to expand their kingdom. So to expand their kingdom, they will cut down trees, they will do anything they want, they will destroy the earth to get the metals, they will do anything without any boundaries. All they want is more conquering, more conquering, more conquering. So the earth is being pained. The animals, the birds, the fishes are being destroyed without any limits to feed the desires of man. And the earth calls out in pain. The earth calls out to nature in pain that, please save me, help me. And nature replies that I have heard you and I see you are in imbalance. So I will come to earth in a shape and a form, and I will take that shape to bring balance to you. Now, this story is a beautiful story. It's the longest story written in ancient times. It's the largest poem on earth. At the end of this story, the entire story continues. There are key characters. At the end of this story, it results in two families, which are the greatest warrior families of the time, going to battle. And in ancient times, 18 million people die. And after that war, in which 18 million people die, there is peace on earth. Because 18 million people in ancient times literally is like half the population of the earth being wiped out. And that happened through destruction, through the loss of life. The reason I say this is that the principle of life coming back into balance is an ancient principle. When we push the planet, when we push life around us out of balance, then life will generate a form which will bring it back into balance. In the present scenario, I believe that form was COVID. You know, when you look at animal populations, in nature, animal populations are kept in balance by diseases. And we are animals too, let us not forget. We are living on this planet and we are kept in balance also by diseases. I believe that the COVID is a result of the karma that we have created for ourselves, because let's talk about karma soon, but because karma is literally the actions and the choices that we have made in the past, which lead us to present day results and present day outcomes. So the COVID, according to me, it's an evolutionary event. It's caused a lot of pain. Hundreds of thousands of people have died around the planet. But look at Maurice, look at what it did in 3 months. In 3 months, the COVID brought peace to the planet for 3 months. Nature came back, the rivers became clear, animals started to flourish. You know, where we had killed their habitat started to come back in 3 months. So according to me, it is an evolutionary event which is meant for us to learn from, that our system is not working, it's broken. And it's also meant to rebalance the earth. Now that we are coming out of the COVID to certain degrees, I'm not sure how many people have learned the lesson. I'm not sure how many people are going to go forward and change their lives. Don't go back to the normal life that you had. Please don't go back to the normal life that you had. You have to think different. You have to live different, whether it's for your company, it's for your family, it's for your personal spiritual growth. You have to think in a new way. Otherwise, your life will be the same old life. An old mind doesn't create a new life, and a new life is not created by an old mind. We have to change.
Yeah, because still, of course, when you are living in fear when you lose your jobs, there are many people who only listen, of course, to others. And yeah, you have been, many years ago, you have been working with your father in India.
Yes.
And and at a sudden morning, a sudden day, you woke up. I think people, you must share that story. What was the moment that you choose to live your journey?
So, Maurice, my story is, at the age of 14, I began to question life. The question in my mind was, why am I here? I'm alive. Why am I alive? Everyone should ask yourself this. Everyone listening to me should ask yourself this question. What is the purpose of your life? Now, when I looked around me at the age of 14, Maurice, I saw everywhere humans were living like sheep. We just follow what everybody else does. We just do what we are told to do. What are we told to do as children? We are told, go to school, get good grades. And essentially, when you finish 10, 15, 20 years of your schooling, then your good grades will get you a good job. Mm-hmm. And then your job will earn you money. And then you must want to earn more money. You see that whole idea of more and more and more and more and more. You buy a car today, tomorrow you buy a bigger car, or you buy another car. Today you have 1 million, tomorrow you want 2nd million, 3rd million, 4 million, right? So more and more and more. And then once you have a job, then what you want is a promotion. And then when you get a promotion, then what do? You find a partner, and then you start a life, and then you have children, then you have a home, then you buy another car. Then you see it goes on more and more. And then in the bargain, you get old and you die.
And you can leave a lot of money, or you can...
Yes. So you get old and you die, right? And I saw everybody doing that. And I said, well, that can't be the purpose for everyone. It cannot be that we are 7 billion people on this planet and our entire purpose is to earn money, start a family, have kids, grow old and die. Then what have we really done for ourselves or for the world that we live in? What have we done? We are just living like robots. We are living like sheep, right? Just following the crowd. Because I saw people who had earned a lot of money and I saw they were very unhappy. I saw people who had relationships and children and they were not happy and fulfilled. They were stressed out. So what is the purpose of life? Why am I here? I began to question. Why am I here? And I wanted to find that answer, and that started a search for me. So for 15 years, I was searching for the truth. I wanted to meet people of wisdom, enlightened teachers and masters, wherever they were. I wanted to go and learn from them. What is the purpose of my life? Show me who I am. Tell me why I'm here. I want to discover it for myself. Long story cut short. But at the age of 29, I had my own awakening. By applying all this wisdom and by learning from the masters, I woke up. That's the best way to describe it. One day I had my awakening, my enlightenment, and I suddenly saw the world in a very different way. And I saw the blueprint of life. How is life created? Why are we here? And I'll answer that question for everyone today. So I was 29 then, Maurice. And suddenly after that experience and after my mind expanded and that awakening, I had become a different person. On the inside, I was totally different. But on the outside, I was the same person. So people couldn't see the change in me. But I knew that I had become a new person. I was thinking a new way. And as I said earlier, when our thinking changes, our life will change. When our thinking evolves, our life will evolve. So I realized that the best use of my life is not to run a company, because at that age of 29, I had become the CEO of our family-owned business. I had gone to the US, I had done my education, I came back, I started working, and level by level, I was eventually made the CEO of the company. And it was a fairly large company, a multi-million-dollar business. We used to win awards every year, and I was the CEO. My photo would come out in the newspaper holding award every year. In our office, we had a ledge, and every award of the company was on that ledge. And
what was that moment that your eyes went open and this is not it.
Yeah, I realized, Maurice, the moment was when I realized that the best use of my life is not to be a CEO of the company. The best use of my life is to be a teacher of wisdom, to wake people up. Because wisdom brings us happiness, brings us freedom, brings us loving relationships, brings us sustainable success. I realized that the best use of my life on this planet is not to take care of 3,500 jobs, is not to run a multi-million-dollar company. The best use of my life is to awaken the world, to wake up the world to how we can be happy and successful at the same time, how we can create sustainable success and live in freedom. I wanted to be a teacher, a messenger of wisdom. So it took me about a year. And then I left from that position and I left from that old life and I started my new life. And my new life was I started Soul Center. And literally I walked away from my old life with nothing, Maurice. I had less than $1,000 in my bank account. So I lost it all, but what did I find? I found my inner voice. And that was more powerful than anything else in my life. My inner voice of authenticity, my inner voice of integrity, my inner voice of what is the best use of my life. And that took me forward. And today, 20 years later, you know the story. We are called Asia's Premier Center. People call me the #1 wisdom coach and all these titles that come to me, right? You know them all. But where did it all start? It started with a man on a mission. No resources, but a mission and a vision to give my best to life and to every person I meet, to bring wisdom into their life so that people can be happy and people can be free. We don't want to live like prisoners. We want to live like masters. And that is my purpose of life. That's my story. Very simple. So today I coach, I teach, I mentor the world with wisdom. I show people how to run successful lives and successful businesses, which create both happiness and success in a balanced way.
And you say, of course, that every human being on earth has a mission to fulfill in life.
Here's a question everyone should ask themselves. Okay? See, you're going to be alive and you've lived a part of your life already. But ask yourself this question. What's the best use of my life and time on this planet? What's the best use of my life and time on this planet? And if you find that answer, and you must find that answer, it will change your life. The best use of your time and life on this planet is not to make more money only. It's not to run a company. It's not to build a house. It's not to produce children. It's not to have a relationship. All of those things are good. You can enjoy them, no problem. Have it all. But don't let that be your end goal. The best, most effective use of your life, what's your best contribution of your time and your life on this planet? Figure that out. And it's going to be much more than what you have around you. That is a life-changing question.
Yeah. And of course, the next question for a lot of people, okay, how can I answer that question? How can I find the answer to that question? They should join your Karma program, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. In the Karma program, which you mentioned, Maurice, I teach a 5-step process on how to live our best life. And look, I'm not the first one bringing this wisdom to the world. I'm bringing it in my own way. But this wisdom is timeless. And at the same time, it's most timely now because people have lost their way. We have lost the way. We are running on a broken system. And it's only making broken people. Look around you. Please look around you. Don't live with your eyes closed. Look around you, what do you see? Broken relationships. What do you see? You see broken people, depressed, addicted, disempowered. The power is gone. The freedom is gone. What do you see? You see stressed out people.
And children. Don't forget the children.
And children, of course. We work with so many children. So the most important thing is to realize that this is not working. And when we have that realization, then we can go forward and look for solutions. The solutions are there. Wisdom is the solution. That's what I'm here to give. I'm here to give the solution to the world. And the solution is wisdom. Now, in ancient times, they defined a way where every human being could live a happy, fulfilled life and at the same time create their success for themselves, but also contribute to the world. And what I have done is I have created a 5-step process. I like to simplify things. People say that's my superpower, Maurice. I simplify deepest wisdom into very simple formulas and steps. So there is a 5-step formula that everyone can follow on living an optimized life to find their best contribution to the world, to find their life purpose. And, people are happy to go and look into that formula. I mean, it's too long to sort of explain it here quickly, but there is a 5-step formula that guides you step by step to create the best life that you can possibly have, a life of fulfillment, a life of happiness, and a life of success and wealth and money, everything. You see, that's what you've got to understand. You can have it all when you do it the right way. When you do it the right way, you can have success without destroying the balance of life around you. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of wisdom.
Beautiful. I love to see that some people are already signed up for your Karma program, and best program ever, life-changing, they say. Thank you for sharing there. But it is true. And coming back, of course, I have 2 beautiful sons. One having his birthday on Sunday, the other one having his birthday next Wednesday. So very close together. And is it not possible to bring that in from day one that they go to school?
Well, it depends on the school, Maurice. And children have teachers in school. So of course they listen to the teachers and the teachers teach the children. But what do the teachers themselves know and believe? Unfortunately, in most schools, teachers themselves have just been taught how to teach and what to teach. But don't forget that the first teachers of the children will always remain the parents. So if the parents themselves are wise, they have a foundation of wisdom, then they can bring that to their own children. And if they don't, they can't. So a child has essentially 3 options, Maurice. Okay, let me explain this very clearly. A child has actually only 3 options. The first option is the parents. If the parents are wise, they can get the wisdom from the parents, a new way of thinking, a new way of living. If the parents are not wise, if they are also just living a conditioned life, then the children have a second option, and that is the teachers. Sometimes they go to school and they meet a teacher who opens their mind. But let's say if that doesn't happen, and the teachers are also just conditioned, they're just focused on teaching their subject, whether it's physics or it's math or it's chemistry, nothing about life, okay? Nothing about wisdom. Then there is a third option. The third option is when this child comes out of school and gets into real life, and this child seeks out a coach or a mentor. And that is always voluntary. It's always by choice. You see, the parents, in a way, we are with them. We are born and they are around us. The teachers we can't choose because our parents send us to school. But coaches and mentors are always chosen. They are by choice. And that is the last option, the third option. And literally, often for many people, it's a life-changing option. And I personally also coach and mentor so many people. And their lives are massively changed. I mean, their whole thinking changes, their way they live, the way they are in relationships, the kind of companies they run, everything changes. And those are the only 3 options, Maurice.
It's much needed, Vikas. It's much needed. Dick is asking us if the solutions is wisdom, then personal development and education for our minds has to be essential to the leaders in this world. Is that indeed priority number one in your opinion, Vikas?
Yeah, I think there's two ways that we look at this, all right? I mean, to change the world, what do we need to do? All right, so I rephrase your question, Dick, right? I rephrase your question. To change the world, what do we need to do? We need to do two things. The first thing we need to do is to bring wisdom to the leaders of our world, the leaders of government, the leaders of companies, all right? That's the basically two elements which drive economies. So we bring wisdom as much as possible to the leaders of our country, of our world. But we don't wait for that. While we are doing that, we work on ourselves. We bring wisdom into our own life. So we want to change, and that is in our hands. And then we want the leaders to change. That is not in our hands 100%, only partly. But changing our own life is 100% in our hands, and that's what every person on the planet must do. Wisdomize your life. Wisdomize your life. Wisdomize your life. We have to start there.
How hard it is for people to change that mindset? Because you have young generations, my generation, older generations. Yeah, you're laughing because you know why I'm asking you this question.
Yes, but I have a very nice answer for this. How hard is it to change your mindset? The answer is, it's as hard as you think it is. Because your mind is all about thoughts. So what is your thought about changing your own mind? If you think it's going to be difficult, it will be difficult. If you think I can do it, you can. It's very easy when you want to. For anything you want to, it's very easy. But when you don't want to, it's very difficult.
Can you give an example of people who experience itself? Because I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
They want to change, but
yes.
They don't know how. They are in fear. They listen to the news on TV. They listen to the government. They listen, but they cannot make that connection to what they really are feeling and following.
Yeah. Okay, but I will answer this question, Maurice, how we can do it. But before that, I want to pick up on something else you mentioned, right? Because this is it's about waking people up. As I said, this is really about changing lives. Okay, so you touched upon something and I want to pick it up.
Thank you.
You mentioned about the news. You know, people watch the news, they watch media. And my suggestion to everybody is this, okay? The media is also a business. Please understand. The media is a business. And all media, if it's a business, is driven by profit. We come back to that same word, profit. So that means they need to have more sales. And you need to understand what type of news creates more sales. Is it positive news or negative news? What creates more sales? Let me give you an example. In today, let's say just on the day today, what do you think you'll hear on the media? Will you hear about the 10 people who helped each other and life is good, life is beautiful, we are living in a great world? Or will you hear about the 5 people who killed somebody else and life is really bad and you better be careful and you better, be in fear? What will you hear? The media is a business. It will use whatever it needs to generate more sales, more viewership. And the answer is very clear. Negative news sells more. Drama, fear, negative outcomes sell more. So my advice to everybody is this. If you want to listen to your inner voice, remember we were talking about understanding the purpose of your life. If you want to listen to your inner voice, you must lessen the outer noise. I repeat again. To listen to your inner voice, lessen the outer noise. De-link from media, from too much information. We are drowning in information and we are thirsting for wisdom. That is the problem of the world. Today in social media, and especially in the last 3 months, guess what, Maurice? Everyone's become an expert on social media. Everyone's doing podcasts, everyone's doing videos. There is so much information out there and not all of it is right. But everyone's making noise. And that noise drowns out your inner voice. If you want to listen to your authenticity and your integrity, you learn to lessen the outer noise and louden the inner voice. Got it? Please believe me on this, all right? Lessen the outer noise and louden the inner voice, and then you will know your truth. So my suggestion to everyone is stop seeking more and more information. What you want is wisdom. Programs like this, where it's expanding your mind, is great. Anything that helps you to expand your mind, elevate your living is good. Other than that, you don't need more and more information. We are living in a world that's drowning in information. It will kill you. It will confuse you. We are drowning in information. We are thirsting for wisdom. Wisdom is the solution. Information is not. So that being said, Maurice.
So when are you setting up a media organization?
I am not. People can connect with me on Facebook. They will see the truth. They will hear positive news. They will hear inspirational wisdom and lessons, and they can try my programs if they want. And, they will see that wisdom is the solution. It is for happiness. Who wants to be happy? If you want to be happy, you need wisdom. Who wants to have loving relationships? If you want to have loving relationships, if you want to be in the same relationship for 20 years and still in love, you need wisdom. Who wants success that is sustainable for 20 years? It doesn't ruin your life. It doesn't cause you stress. If you want success without stress, you need wisdom. And it all starts by training your mind. You need to lessen that outer noise to listen to the inner voice. That's the formula.
And let me share my story then a bit. And this exactly 20 years ago, that was after my study, I finished university degree economics, and I chose to travel the world. For 1.5 years, I was traveling. You meet so many speakers, people from, I'm into the speaking business. You meet so many people from around the world, different cultures. You engage, you listen, you connect. And for my only question for myself was, okay, who am I and how do other people see me? And I think with that second question, of course, that people are afraid to show themselves instead of listening how other people see them. What is your opinion about it?
Yeah. Here's the thing, Maurice. We are all concerned about how people see us, right? And the fact of the matter is this, that when we lose touch with our own identity is when we become concerned about the identity others give us. I'll repeat this again. It's very big. When we lose touch with who we really are, we become concerned with what identity others give us. So the solution is to be anchored within your own identity, right? To be confident about who you are. That's the solution. The solution is not to keep on trying to change the world or impress the world or seek approval from the world. None of the leaders in their fields, none of the champions in their field really care about what the world thinks of them. And if they do, they are not champions, they are not leaders. So when we lose that anchor on the inside is when we begin to seek approval from the outside. That's where we need to do the work. That's where we need to do the focus.
Nice. Sami Sood, if I pronounce it right. What is happening in the world is not depending on a single person's actions. I like it. Even those who are performing pure-heartedly, and they have also been affected true. What is your take on that?
Oh, this is a great question.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So, Sammy, let me answer this for you that, karma, okay, I'll come back to karma. Karma is a very ancient Sanskrit word. And what does karma really mean? When you truly understand it, karma means the law of movement and balance. The law of movement and balance. So karma is about keeping everything in balance and therefore keeping life sustained. My personal life, so karma applies to me individually, but karma also applies as a collective. So there are two parts of karma. There is individual and there's collective, right? The law of balance and movement is individual and collective. So basically what this means is that as a collective, we are also creating results. Let's say that I am just one person, okay? I am one person. And I am very pure thinking. I'm very right thinking. I always want to do the right thing. And I am not in any way doing anything negative. But then I'm surrounded by 5 other people, right? Let's call them friends, 5 friends. And those 5 friends have a negative thinking. And I'm hanging out with them, right? I'm a part of their group or their team or their community. I have no thought of stealing from anyone, cheating from anyone. But my friends, 5 of them, that's what they do. They steal from other people. That's how they live their good life. Now, over a period of time, they get caught. And I'm with them in that group. Because when the police does investigations, they find out there were 6 members of this group. Now, no matter how hard I try and convince them that I'm not at fault, guess what will happen? Part of the effect of what they have done will come upon me also. I give you another way this works, all right? Karma works collectively. Let's say that you're in a relationship, husband-wife, okay? A husband and a wife. The wife is a homemaker, takes care of their 2 children. The husband goes to work every morning. The wife doesn't know what happens at work, but she's married to this man. At work, this man does something wrong. Okay, he breaks the laws, he cheats people, he defrauds other people. The wife doesn't even know about it. But when the law catches up with this man, the man is punished. But as a result of that man being punished, is the wife also feeling the pain? The answer is yes. A part of what the man did comes to the wife also. So to put it simply, understand that karma is a collective force as much as it is an individual force. You can control your individual actions, your individual thoughts, your individual movement of life. You can't control the movement of the collective. And therefore, because you know that the collective effect will come upon you also, whether it's a collective of 2 or a collective of 20 or a collective of 2 million, that effect will come upon you also because you know that. Then wisdom says you must choose your friends, you must choose your relationships, you must choose your teachers, your coaches, you must choose your community very, very carefully. Because you become like the people you surround yourself with. If I'm surrounding myself with people who have a negative thinking or a negative mentality or negative actions, then part of that result will affect me also. And that's why sometimes when there are good people in bad families or there are good people in bad companies, the good people are just overwhelmed. They feel the effects of the negative collective karma. But, I would suggest that you perhaps go deeper into the karma class that Maurice mentioned, the Karma Masterclass, and you'll find all the details there. In fact, I give solutions on how to resolve all of these problems. But that's a great question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sammy. Rosie, maybe it's not a question, but I just wanted to share it with you. It's impossible to live in the modern world without causing pollutions. Is it?
The answer is, I love the question. There's such great questions coming up, right? The answer to this question, it's impossible to live in the modern world without causing pollution. The answer is yes and no. Yes, it's impossible to live if we continue to live with the current system. The current system is broken. It's a wrong system. It's based on exploiting the planet. It's based on using everything to grow the company profits, to grow my profits, to grow my country's profits. Our desires are without limits. And the desires are without limits because we have not controlled our own mind. So with the current system, yes, I agree with you, Rosie, the world will continue to pollute more and more. But it's, as I said, it's yes and no. If we change our mindset, and if we can change the way our country or the economy runs, then yes, it's absolutely possible to live in this world, on this planet, and yet live in balance without pollution. Just like all the other animals exist. They exist in balance with the earth. You know, there are billions and billions of species of animals, birds, fishes, and plants. And not one of them pushes the earth out of balance. The only species which pushes the earth out of balance is the human species. We call ourselves the most intelligent species, but unfortunately, from a perspective of wisdom, we are the most non-intelligent because we do not see that we are creating our own destruction. And that destruction is guaranteed. It's not a if, it's a when. When we pollute our waters, when we pollute our air, when we pollute the soil that produces our plants and our food, when we pollute everything around us, eventually we are a part of that same ecosystem and it comes back to us. It only takes a little bit of time, and karma says it takes time, but eventually it comes back to us. So the root of it all, Rosie, is about managing desires and training this mind. You know, I go so far as to make a big statement today. The solution to the world, all its problems, economic problems, financial problems, relationship problems, the solution for the whole world is wisdom and meditation. Meditation helps us to train our mind. Wisdom helps us to live a good life. And they are connected. Wisdom and meditation are connected. They're two parts of the same string. When we train our mind, when we can manage our mind, we can have a beautiful life. But if we cannot manage or control our desires, there is no happiness to be found. There is no fulfillment. There is no contentment. There is no good relationships. Infinite desire and infinite growth on a finite planet with finite resources is a formula for destruction. I repeat again. Infinite desires leading to infinite growth on a planet which is finite, on a finite planet with finite resources is a formula for destruction. So the solution for that, if you really boil it down, is we need to learn how to manage our mind and manage our desires. Can I give a formula to everyone, Maurice?
Sure.
I know I have a limited amount of time with everybody. So let me give you a formula that you will remember and that will change your life and the way you live. It will increase your happiness. It will decrease your stress. It will increase your level of success and fulfillment. It will take away the discontentment. And the formula is very simple. I call it the Mom-Dodd formula. I repeat, Mom-Dodd, M-O-M, like mom, right? Mummy, mother, mom. And Dodd, D-O-D, M-O-M-D-O-D, Mom-Dodd. The Mom-Dodd formula. The Mom-Dodd formula. The Mom, M-O-M, is manage our mind. Mom. The Dodd, D-O-D, is discipline our desires. And that is the complete formula for you to use to live a happy and fulfilled life. Manage our mind and discipline our desires. If we only want more and more and more, we will have an unfulfilled life. It doesn't matter how much we have. And if we don't manage our minds, happiness is not possible. Desires will never end. So it starts by managing our mind and disciplining our desires. And we can all have a fulfilled and a happy life and success without imbalancing the world. The Mom-Dodd formula You heard it here first.
Okay. Thank you, Vikas. We have a couple of minutes, of course. I just don't want to end this masterclass. I want to hear more and more and more, because we of course are looking for breaking the system, and there's of course not only one system. There are more. But it starts with yourself, sure. And
Absolutely.
That's what I hear in my last webinars. In my next webinar, you're promoting it already. You shared it a couple of times. The imbalance between human beings and nature. That will be on Tuesday 4 p.m. Amsterdam time. But yeah, of course, we must do something with it. And in the beginning of this masterclass, is of course we are also afraid that people are going back again how they were before the lockdown. So maybe it's a beautiful. Give us some beautiful lessons that will help people to move on in a better way.
Very simple, Maurice. Let us learn from nature. Nature teaches us that we have eyes only in the front of our head. We don't have eyes at the back. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is very simple. We are meant to look forward. We are not meant to look back. So let me use that as a metaphor for telling everyone that you should not ever walk backwards. Because when you walk backwards, you're preparing for an accident. We have come forward 3 months, 4 months, in some places 6 months. You know, the COVID-19, they say it started in November, December, 6 months, right? We have come forward 6 months. Do not walk back to your old life. Do not walk back to the old you. Look ahead to create the life that you wish for yourself and for your family in the future. A life of fulfillment, a life of peace, a life of integrity, authenticity, a life where you manage your mind and you discipline your desires. And I promise you, if you have the wisdom to do that, if you have the wisdom to live such a life, this planet will be a beautiful place. And if we can all do that, this planet will be heaven on earth. But it starts with the first person that you need to change, and that is you. All of us have a responsibility to work on making ourselves better human beings. We only have a short time on this planet, and we are guests here. Leave this planet as a good guest. Don't leave it as a bad owner. Leave this planet, leave the people in your life so that they thank you for being with them, not that they curse you for ever arriving. So start with the first person that you need to change, and that is you yourself. And that is wisdom.
It makes me emotional, of course, and of course, Kelly, thank you for sharing this, your appreciation about this webinar, this engagement. I hope, of course, this is your first time. I hope you spread it forward, you share it. I'm connected with so many purpose-driven speakers. That's my focus when I experienced the last crisis. I just want to be that connector to share the purpose of great people like you, Vikas, like Sally. It's much
Maurice, don't be a connector, my friend. Become a messenger of wisdom. Let wisdom be the connector. Become a messenger of wisdom.
So everybody should be the messenger of wisdom then.
Yes. Yes, everyone.
We have 1 hour, 30 minutes. And I already told you I can listen for hours to your stories and to your wisdom and learning from you, because I think from my children to my parents, to my grandparents, they all must learn from wisdom. And it starts when you are born now. It starts when you are born. We must learn, we must start with that one question. When you, what is that question? What is that important question, Vikas? Please, I want to hear that out of your mouth. When we start in life, we must just start with that one question.
Maurice, no matter what age we are at, okay, whether we are 8 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old, wherever we start, all right, at whatever age we begin to question, the question to ask yourself is this: what is the best use and contribution of my life and time on this planet? Listen, my friends, we are not taking anything with us. We are not taking money with us. We are not taking power with us. We are not taking our titles with us. I am the founder. I am the CEO. I am the CIO. We are not taking our cars with us. We are not taking our homes with us. We are not taking our gold with us and our diamonds with us. Have all of that while you live your life and enjoy it. But what you should live your life with is the question: what is my best use and my best contribution of my life and time on this planet? And give away your best. Give away your best value. Give away your best contribution, so that when you die completely empty. You have given away everything that was inside you. And that's the way to live.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vikas. Thank you for this amazing, inspiring masterclass, or as you may name it, Micro Masterclass. Everybody should join your online karma program. There's no question about that. What I already shared with the people, we do this webinars 2 times a week, and we focus on purpose-driven speakers from all over the world to share that their mission. People not only talking about it, but we really also people who are doing it. That's for me very important. And last Tuesday, energy poverty, 2 guys who take who are going to solve that problem in the world. Next week on Tuesday, we have 2 amazing speakers about the imbalance of nature and human beings. What can we do about the climate change? And next Thursday, because we all have our own stories. We know we have a story to tell and to share and to live that story. You shared with me, Vikas, become the author of your own life story. And that's reminds me of next Tuesday. We are going to help not only speakers, not only to find their own story, but also, how can we get that fear away from all these people, and even share the story in front of many people. So welcome everybody to join this webinars. Feel free. Vikas again. Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Maurice. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity and experience.
90 minutes was nothing with you. And of course, you are invited again here in my home in Belgium. And thank you for having you and Sally in my life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maurice. Thank you.
Everyone, thank you for joining us, and hope we will see you next time again. Bye-bye.